Armed Services and Oversight Committees. His district in the Bay Area includes San Jose and Santa Clara. Congressman Khanna, good to see you again. Welcome.
Joshua, always great to be on.
Let's start with the January 6th Commission. What are your drop-dead must-dos for what this commission has to accomplish or has to uncover?
Joshua, they just have to get the facts. They have to conduct a thorough investigation. I give the Speaker tremendous amount of credit. It's a bipartisan commission with the courage of people like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. But there are a lot of other Republican members of Congress who also want the facts. It's not just the few high-profile people that Kevin McCarthy appointed to try to disrupt the commission. Many people privately want the commission to do its job. They will, and I think the American people will have answers.
With regards to the witnesses that you would see called, who would be on your list? You have said that Donald Trump might need to be questioned. What about other people? Some have said that Congressman Jim Jordan should be called as well. Who would you like to see on the witness list?
Well, the main people I would like to see actually are the Secretary of Defense at the time and some of the generals who were in charge. Why did it take so many hours to have any response to the Capitol? And that leaves us vulnerable, not just as members of Congress, but if you're a foreign adversary looking at this and you say the United States couldn't protect the most important institution of democracy, it took 5-6 hours, that makes us vulnerable. So we need to figure out what went wrong and how we prevent that from ever happening again.
The barriers around the Capitol complex came down not too long ago. How safe do you feel, Congressman, right now, just working on Capitol Hill?
I personally feel safe. I'm glad that the barriers are no longer there. I love when constituents and people can interact with Congress. That's the hallmark of democracy. But I am concerned, particularly for our police officers. Every day I drive in, I see that they're standing outside, cars are coming in, and it's not an easy job. So I'm concerned for law enforcement. I'm concerned for some of the staff, and I really hope that a lot of thought has gone into protecting them as well.
Let me get your reaction to one of the members who Speaker Pelosi kept off of the committee, Congressman Jim Banks of Indiana. Here's part of what he said today on Fox News Sunday. Watch.
She claimed that the reason that she booted me from the committee was because of antics on the part of Jim Jordan and I. In hindsight, what I realize what she means by that now is that we were prepared to ask questions that no one else has asked and demand answers as to why the Capitol was vulnerable to an attack on January 6th. Why was there a systemic breakdown of security at the Capitol on January 6th? If you're going to investigate January 6th, why not ask those questions?
How do you react to that?
I don't know what he's talking about. We have asked those questions. I'm on the Oversight Committee, and you can look at the transcript. Almost every member of Congress has asked about why was there a security breakdown? Why was there not a stronger anticipation by Capitol Police? And why was there not a stronger anticipation by the Secretary of Defense? The reason that he wasn't included on the committee is he has downplayed the fact that it was an insurrection. And I understand if you don't believe it was an insurrection, why do you want to investigate the insurrection?
Well, and with regards to that, with regards to the bipartisan nature of the committee, at least its efforts to be as bipartisan as possible, Benny Thompson of Mississippi is the chair of the committee. Here's part of what he said regarding the inclusion of Congressman Kinzinger.
The congressman is a welcome addition to the committee. He's demonstrated that he can express his opinion despite what some of his Republican colleagues might want him not to express. So independent voice to this select committee is always welcome.
Congressman, how bipartisan do you think this committee is going to be in practice and is going to be perceived as by the American people?
I think it'll be very bipartisan. And I think Benny Thompson is a phenomenal chair. I mean, he's from Mississippi. He's from the South. He's not, quote unquote, of the progressive wing of the party like I am. He works across the aisle all the time. And he's someone I think people will trust. He has tremendous moral credibility, and I think the way he conducts the hearing will give people confidence. So it was a tremendous pick by the Speaker to have Benny Thompson in charge.
Definitely got to ask you about the infrastructure deal before I let you go. How optimistic are you that we will have even just the full text of the deal tomorrow to begin moving it through the process?
I don't know on the bipartisan deal. I will say that the most important part is the reconciliation, not just for human infrastructure, as you pointed out, childcare, community college, but also for the infrastructure itself. It has a much more robust broadband provision. It has a much more robust provision for tackling climate change. One final point, Charles Blow has an op-ed in the New York Times that every person should read. He says more important than roads are rights, and that we have not done enough to actually rise to this moment. The administration, the president hasn't done enough. We need to get rid of the filibuster. I really hope people will read his op-ed.
I also have to ask you, with regard to the infrastructure bill, about the wildfires in the West. I know there are some parts near your district, I'm thinking particularly Los Gatos, which is south of where you are, that are very, very dry. And a number of the wildfires have been burning all around the state. There's kind of no reason why the Bay Area might not be the next tinderbox to explode with just the right spark, I'm sorry to say. How confident are you that the infrastructure package will address some of your constituents' concerns, with the possibility, let's be clear, of wildfires breaking out near some of the most industrial and important parts of the Bay Area in terms of its economy?
Joshua, I'm very concerned for the Bay Area. And as you know, the reason that these fires are so dangerous is that we have hotter and drier weather. So the biggest thing we need to do in the reconciliation bill is tackle climate change. I'm confident reconciliation does that. Beyond that, we're going to need federal funds to make sure that we have the appropriate response, to make sure that we ultimately have prescribed burns and mitigation techniques so that we don't see the wildfires we've seen in Oregon and California. And I'm confident Congress will be there for that kind of resource.
Yeah, it was always unsettling to me living in the Bay